Every generation asks the same question. Why is the world full of chaos? Civilization rise and fall. Empires promise peace and produce war. Political systems promise equality and create corruption. Economical systems promise prosperity and create exploitation. Religions promise enlightenment and still have you leave humanity divided. Humanity keeps redesigning society, yet the machine never runs correctly. Why? Because a creation cannot function properly when disconnected from the original intention of its manufacturer. And according to the manufacturer's documentation, the earth was never designed to operate independently from its central government order. When we look at the world honestly, we see a pattern repeating throughout history. Humanity constantly searches for a perfect system. Some believed communism would create equality. Instead, millions died under authoritarian control. Some believed socialism would solve human suffering, yet many systems became trapped in dependency, stagnation, and bureaucracy. Others believed capitalism alone would create freedom and prosperity, yet without moral structure, greed can consume entire societies. Every generation creates another blueprint for utopia, another ideology, another revolution, another political movement, another economic theory, and yet humanity remains fractured. War continues, corruption continues, division continues, mental collapse continues, family collapses, communities weaken, government fight each other, people fight over race, ideology, religion, class, nationality, and power. Why? Because humanity keeps trying to repair the external systems while ignoring the internal design problems. The issue is deeper than politics. The issue is authority. Who has the right to define how humanity functions? Because every system functions according to whoever holds ultimate authority, and when authority becomes fragmented, the systems begins malfunctioning. Most people understand Earth only as a planet, but according to the constitutional order, Earth was created as a governmental territory, not merely a location, but a colony, an expansion realm. It is written, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." Notice the distinction, heavens and the earth, two realms, one invisible, one physical. The heavenly realm already operated under perfect order, alignment, authority, and harmony under God the Father, the King. The earth was created as an extension of that government into a physical realm, not separated from the governing realm, but connected to it. The kingdom of God was never meant to stay confined to the unseen realm. Earth was designed to reflect the homeland culture, its order, its structure, and administration. This is why Jesus later taught people how to initiate divine network connection. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. The statement reveals original design. Earth was meant to mirror heavens functionally. According to operational blueprint, God did not create Earth randomly. Creation carries intentional architecture. A manufacturer creates with purpose. An engineer designs with function in mind. Nothing exists without intended operation. The earth was created with governmental intention. God the Father, the King, established earth as a realm where his nature, his order, his creativity, his intelligence, and authority could expand into physical existence. This is why Genesis describes humanity being given dominion. Dominion means delegated authority. Human beings were not designed to merely to survive, they were designed to administer, to steward creation, to cultivate order, to govern under an alignment with heaven's government. Humanity was meant to function like a representatives of heaven inside the physical realm, not independent rulers, but delegated governors. This is why the first humans were placed in a garden. A garden represents a cultivated territory, ordered territory, government territory. The mandate was simple: expand order across the earth, extend alignment, extend life, extend stewardship, extend heaven's culture into the physical world. This is why human creativity exists, why humans build cities, create systems, construct governments, develop technology, organize civilization. Human beings were designed to expand and administer. The desire for civilization itself comes from original design. But without the alignment to the original government, expansion becomes corrupted. The fall of humanity was fundamentally an authority rebellion. Humanity disconnected itself from the original governing source, and once that happened, fragmentation entered the system. Once mankind rejected divine authority, every person began establishing their own version of truth, morality, government, and purpose. This produced competing paradigms, competing ideologies, competing worldviews, competing definition of good and evil. This is why human history becomes a cycle of conflict. Because when there is no universally recognized highest authority, every group attempts to become the authority. And this is exactly what we see today. Nations competing, political parties competing, religions competing, corporation competing, individuals competing, every attempting to establish dominion. But without alignment to the original function, power becomes corrupted. This is why even good systems eventually decay, because systems are only as healthy as the nature of people operating them. A corrupt heart eventually corrupts their structure, which is why external reform alone can never solve the human problem. Humanity does not merely need better systems. Humanity needs restoration of alignment, a change of internal software. Every civilization dreams about peace, a world without suffering, without war, without corruption, without injustice. In other words, humanity instinctively longs for the kingdom. People may not use the language, but the longing itself reveals original memory. The human spirit embraced that existence was supposed to function differently. Yet every human attempt at utopia eventually collapses. Because humanity keeps trying to create heaven without the king. The system cannot function while disconnected from its governing source. It is like removing software from a machine and expecting the hardware to operate perfectly, or disconnecting a branch from a tree and expecting fruit to continue to grow. The problem is not merely economic, not merely political, not merely educational. The root malfunction is separation from the original authority. This is why Jesus entered history, not merely to create a religion, but to restore mankind back into alignment with the government of God. Jesus constantly spoke about the kingdom government, the government of heaven, the order of heaven, the will of the Father, the restoration of humanity back on the divine alignment. This is why Jesus is called the Prince of Peace, because peace is not merely emotional calm. Peace is the result of proper alignment. When systems function correctly, peace emerges naturally. A healthy engine runs smoothly. A healthy society operates harmoniously. A healthy family produces stability. Peace is evidence of correct function. And governing document states that soon the government of God will be fully restored order to the earth. Not through corruption, not through propaganda, not through forced ideological control, but through righteous authority. This is why Isaiah says, of the increases of its government and peace there will be no end. Notice the connection, government and peace, because true peace only comes when creation operates according to original design. Here's some principles to remember. Earth was created intentionally and not randomly. Earth was designed as an expansion realm of heaven's government. Humanity was created for stewardship and delegated authority. This order enters when creation disconnects from original authority. Political system alone cannot fix humanity's core malfunction. Humanity longs for utopia because it was originally designed for alignment. The head of God's government, Jesus, came to restore humanity back to original kingdom function. If humanity is to function correctly again, restoration must begin at the individual level. First, a person must understand original design. Second, they must realign themselves with truth, Jesus Christ. Third, they must bring order into their own life. Order in mind, family, discipline, stewardship, purpose, morality, and responsibility. Because restored individuals produce restored families, families produce communities, communities produce nations, and kingdom restoration always moves from internal alignment to external transformation. Here's some reflection for you. If the world is malfunctioning because humanity has disconnected from original authority, then what would that society look like if humanity truly returned to original function? This video helps you understand the original function of life a little deeper. Make sure to like the video so more people can discover these principles, and subscribe to join the journey of returning to original function.